Welcome back, everybody. It's another episode of The Human Side of Marketing. I'm your co-host, Chris Angel. I'm here with your host, as always, Kurt Stockwell.
Hello, Chris.
What's up, Kurt?
I am feeling refreshed. I just got back from a 2-week vacation with my family.
How often does that happen?
That does not happen very often. I have never actually taken a full 2 weeks out of my business, but we just celebrated our 8-year anniversary.
Hey,
and
awesome.
I've been able to build the business up to the point where I've got staff members that can,
that's right.
stand at the helm while I'm gone, and the ship doesn't crash into the rocks. So
yes,
it was good.
This is your business anniversary, not your wedding anniversary.
No, business anniversary.
How long have you been married?
Been married for, you would do this to me.
On the air.
15
I'm calling
years.
you out.
15 years, I think. Actually, it's my anniversary in a few days.
Nice. There you go. Got it. So your work anniversary, you've had Well-Dressed Walrus?
Thank God you brought that up. Oh my gosh, I almost forgot. No, I didn't forget.
I know, right? On air.
What were you going to say?
Well, so Well-Dressed Walrus has been around 8 years. And now you've got people inside your company that can manage things that have allowed you to take 2 weeks off. It's amazing.
Yes, that's true.
Good. So, and it was good. You went to Yellowstone.
I went to Yellowstone. Yeah. So we visited my sister in Lake of the Ozarks. We flew to St. Louis, met my parents who live in Illinois, and they have an RV. My wife, myself, and my 2 little girls jumped in the RV with my parents, went to the Ozarks to visit my sister, and then drove from the Ozarks through Kansas City, Denver to Yellowstone to Spokane.
Whoa, that's a big drive. Whoa.
Yeah. And so there's probably people listening going, "Oh my God, I would never do that with my
vacation
family."
From your vacation.
Right. But it was great. My parents are great. And when you're traveling in an RV and, a kid gets tired or crabby, they just go lay in the bed in the back.
Right. Nice.
Yeah, so awesome. It was good. It was really fun. But Yellowstone, we visited Yellowstone, and Yellowstone is incredible. Incredible.
Yeah.
Have you been to Yellowstone?
I've not been. I've had friends that go. I usually they'll show me pictures of buffalo and wild, big animals and amazing things. But
yeah. Yellowstone is an incredible place. It's a very violent place.
What do you mean?
So you're familiar with Old Faithful?
Yeah. I was picturing some type of wild animal eating other wild animals in front of your kids.
They talk about that though. They're like, all over the place. They're constantly saying, stay away from the bison, stay away from the elk, stay away from the bear. Like, they are wild animals. They are not in cages, and they will mess you up. So
they will mess you up. That's
Yellowstone is violent in that sense as well.
Yes.
But what I'm talking about is, so Old Faithful is a geyser, and that water is, super duper hot and comes flying up out of the ground and shoots 90 feet in the air or something like that. Well, of course, below the surface, for that to happen, there's a lot of crazy, violent things going on underneath the surface of the earth, and the whole eastern, I think it's western, the whole southwest part of Yellowstone. There's probably some Yellowstone expert listening going, it's not in the west, it's in the east. But
right.
That whole section of Yellowstone near the Old Faithful geyser is just little geysers and little mud bogs that are bubbling and super hot charged water. And there was a major cataclysmic earthquake there that changed the geography of Yellowstone just back in the late 80s. So there's things happening over there all the time. And it's actually a pretty violent place, but it's beautiful. Incredibly.
That's what I was going to say. When I think of Yellowstone, I think of, beauty. I don't think of violence. But it's funny because under the surface of all that beauty is all this activity, all this tumultuous, bubbling stuff happening, which I think is probably where we're headed in this conversation as a metaphor. Hit me with the metaphor, because I do love this. I think
so true. As I was on vacation, I told myself, don't work. And even in my my email response, when people would email me, I'm like, hey, I'm on vacation, and I'm not replying to email because I promised my wife I wouldn't, and that's true. So I promised her, because I've got the tendency to leave on vacation and work.
Yeah.
Because I'm constantly focused on work, and I love what I do, and it's hard to disconnect myself from my career, my job.
Right.
And I think as an entrepreneur, the entrepreneurs who are listening, the business owners who are listening, we can all kind of raise our hands and go, even on vacation, I'm thinking about work, and I'm thinking about, oh my gosh, am I forgetting something? Am I leaving something out? What's happening? What's going to be the future? What's happening next year? What are all these things that are going on in your head under the surface can be very, as I'm looking at Yellowstone, thinking about all this, I'm thinking about, how tumultuous and how emotional owning a business is, and being an entrepreneur is. And so as we were talking about what subject we wanted to have today, or what we wanted to talk about, we kind of got onto the subject of, hey, I've been on vacation, and in the prior to leaving for vacation, in full disclosure, the second quarter for us has been kind of a crappy quarter. It's kind of sucked, honestly. And there were some different things that happened with different marketing efforts and stuff that kind of fell on their face and was a big flop. And I was actually going into vacation really kind of down and kind of bummed out and kind of depressed. Right. And that was really hard for me to take time away from take away from Well Dressed Walrus to go away for 2 weeks, when I feel like there's things at work that need to get fixed.
Totally.
And that's the constant battle of an entrepreneur, I think, or of a business owner.
I love this. I feel like this is so important. This is such a perfect time in our history to be having these kinds of conversations, because I think for so long we've always fronted and postured with having to feel like we have to have it all together, or look like we have it all together, because who's going to buy from somebody who doesn't have it all together?
Right.
When in reality, nobody has it all together. We're all, it may look beautiful from the outside like Yellowstone does, but under the surface, we all have these things that are bubbling up. And I feel like as entrepreneurs, we haven't been given permission to be vulnerable and transparent with those things. When in reality, if we look at the human side of marketing, the human side of anything, the human side of business, what actually creates the connection with your customers and prospects is that you're human.
Yeah.
Like that.
Yeah. Right. Yeah. Exactly. And that's the thing that, and why I wanted to kind of have this discussion is we're not talking about marketing.
Yeah.
We're talking about you as an individual, and you as an individual life is happening all around business.
Yeah. All the time.
Life happens in business, and life happens all around business, and it's not pretty, and it's not beautiful, and it's not, all buttoned up and put together. But, people listening might think like, oh, Kurt's got all this amazing advice about marketing all the time. His company, must just be, cruising through business, like no problems at all. But, like I said, we had a tough second quarter, and I was going into this vacation very kind of down.
Yeah. And it's funny, not funny, but I mean, you were coming off of a like stellar quarter.
Yeah.
Like you were coming off of, you were flying high. And I think that's the entrepreneurial journey. You're like, you're flying high, and then bam, you're like in the depths of the dark night of the soul.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
So quarter four and quarter one of 2019, quarter four of 18, one of 19 was great.
Yeah.
I've been doing this for 8 years. That's the way it is.
Yeah. Right.
But I think in these times, going back to the kind of the whole point of our show, the human side of marketing, take time to press into these emotional times where you are feeling like you suck.
Yes.
You are feeling like, man, I don't have it all figured out. Because on the other side of your marketing is somebody else who is thinking the same thing. We're all in the same emotional roller coaster.
Yep.
And when I was on vacation and I determined I was going to not work, it really gave me time to look at my family and look at my loved ones and go, this is what it's all about. And even if it all fell apart tomorrow, at the end of the day, I've got people who love me and I love them.
Yeah.
And these are the moments in 25 years that I'm going to be remembering.
Yeah.
Is these 2 weeks that I took with my family, and not the, oh man, 20 years from now, I'm not going to go, oh, I remember in quarter two of 2019.
Yeah.
I felt very emotional.
Right.
Not at all. I won't even remember it. Right.
Yeah.
But I will remember all of those times that I spent with my family. And I think when you take time to emotionally invest in yourself and in your loved ones, and you get out of this rat race of, this tumultuous life that we live as business owners and as entrepreneurs, you start to assess what's really important.
Mm.
And, those beautiful things, you can stand back and go, wow, I'm blessed.
We just did an episode recently in your show about empathy.
Yeah.
And we talk about empathy a lot. I think empathy it's not sympathy, it's empathy. Empathy is that you understand how somebody else feels because you felt it too. Like,
yeah.
And I think that's why you say, like, when you say press into or lean into the feelings, the emotions when it sucks is really important because it allows you to reconnect to the struggles that other people are having. And I think that's what makes marketing effective. Nobody wants the perfect polished answer anymore. We want to know that you're human because that's how we choose to do business with you, is that if you're on a pedestal, you're unapproachable, and people have a hard time hiring people that are unapproachable.
Right.
But when you're real and human, people feel safe in that.
Right. Exactly. Yeah. And so, and when we were kind of prepping for this show, we were kind of like, I don't really even know where this is going to go, but let's try to see what unpacks here. And I think the takeaway I hope people would kind of take home from this episode is lean into those times where you're feeling vulnerable, because we all feel that.
Yeah.
And remember that on the other side of whatever you're doing in your business is somebody who's probably going through something, or who's struggling as well.
So good. What did I heard the other day? Somebody was talking about, like, who we want to captain the ship is somebody who's like sailed the choppy waters, right? Like, we don't want the person, the fresh captain out of school who doesn't, has never sailed in rough waters.
Right.
We want the captain who has sailed the ship in the hardest of waters because we feel safe with them. So similarly, like, when you let people know the rough waters you're in, and then they see you a couple months later in good waters, they're like, oh man, this guy he sticks, or she sticks. Yeah. Like, they know how to navigate through those choppy things. And I want to line up with them.
Right. I was just listening to a guy talking about, you look at, if you're looking at life as kind of the big battle, or let's talk about owning a business or being an entrepreneur as a war or a battle. When you allow yourself to be sucked into not being in touch with your emotions, maybe you're not taking the time to get away and refresh. You're not taking the time to really stand back and recognize what's important. You're going to be reacting to these small little battles in an emotional way, and you're going to lose the war. And he gave actually the example of when you're watching sports and you see these kind of young hothead rookies, coming out of college, and they're in the NFL now, for example, and their emotions are just supercharged, and they cost their team greatly, potentially, and they cost their team the game because they can't control their emotions in the one play or the one moment.
Right.
And so I think that getting away and refreshing and taking time off, even when things are a little bit unsettling, is important, because you recharge yourself and you allow yourself to go, okay, I'm not going to emotionally react to this one little battle of Q2 of 2019.
Right.
I'm going to stick with what works. I'm going to stick with what I know. I'm going to stick with, the fact that I'm providing a great service to people who I care about, and I'm not going to freak out and get emotional in these moments, or I'm not going to freak out on my staff, or I'm not going to freak out on my spouse, or I'm not going to, get into a depressed time in my life when I think, I can't do it anymore. I'm giving it all up. Take time to press into those emotions, because on the other side of that, and actually before I went on vacation, I had said to you, I'm kind of going through some stuff right now. And I remember you saying, lean into that, because there's something there and the other side. So I think on the other side of that time, I was able to reflect and go, man, the most important things to me are my family, are my loved ones. And when it comes down to business, whether we're selling websites or email campaigns or helping people find clarity in their marketing, I just want to know that the person on the other side of the table knows that I care about them and the battles that they're fighting and the emotional things that they're going through, because I have empathy for that.
Yeah. So good. Yeah, so good. Love it. Well, I think we could keep talking on this because this is a big topic. And I love that we're actually focusing on something beyond the executable marketing of things like this. Before you can ever go out into the world through your marketing, you have to get in touch, I think, with yourself.
Right.
That's what makes you human. And that's what makes human marketing effective. We could probably title this something like the violent side of marketing, the violent side of life, the dark night of the soul. I don't know, but I definitely think that
night of the soul. There you go. That one's
dark night of the soul. I definitely think we all have those. I've had them like oftentimes in the same day,
yeah,
like
right.
flying high by the afternoon. You're like, this sucks. I hate this.
Right.
But that's just part of it.
It's part of it. Yeah.
It's part of it.
Part of it.
Yeah.
So stay human out there, folks, because
there's
a human being on the other side of the table, even though they're buying your product or service and it's a pretty non-emotional thing, or maybe you're selling a product or a service that is very emotional.
Yeah.
There's emotions attached to no matter what the product or service.
To all of it. Yeah, absolutely. It's really good. Good stuff, Kurt. Well, if people want to reach out to you, learn more about how to customize their website, their marketing, their messaging, how do people reach you?
You can go to clarifymymarketing.com or go to welldressedwalrus.com or find us on Instagram or Facebook at wdwalrus.com. If you want to catch the show on a podcast, you can search The Human Side of Marketing.
Beautiful. Love it. Awesome, Kurt. Thanks for being transparent today. Thanks for sharing vulnerably in this show you call The Human Side of Marketing.
Thank you, sir.
It's good stuff. Until next time.
Yeah.